Except the last step.
Okay. I'll call the meeting to order for Hamlin Conservation Board on Monday, October 28th. The fire exits are on either end of the hallway. There's an AED across the hall. If there's an issue, just let us know. If you have a cell phone and pager, please turn it off right now. Just a second on my phone. Cheryl, would you call the roll call, please?
Okay, Janine Clark.
Here.
Rob Westcott.
Here.
Carrie Whipple. Here. Louis Vincenti.
Here.
Christie Rutherford, excused.
Okay, I'm going to ask board members if they, what about the September 23rd meeting minutes, if there are any corrections, changes, anything that
Mine is spelling and punctuation.
so was that a motion to approve?
Yes. I'll second.
And Lou seconds. Cheryl, call the roll.
Rob Westcott.
Yes.
Janine Clark.
Yes.
Carrie Whipple. Yes. Louis Vincenti.
Yes.
I'm going to open the public forum for the duration of the meeting. And go right into the reports. There was one public hearing, which was a continuation of the public hearing for Morgan and Andrew Honan at 180 Ketchum Road. They're asking for preliminary and final single lot subdivision approval to build a single family dwelling at that location. The parcel 9 acres, and the house meets the zoning requirements. They want to set the house back farther than some neighbors. There was discussion between one of the applicant and one of the future neighbors, that their neighbor is concerned that the house will be in their back view. And in the winter, there's no privacy coverage when the foliage comes off. And she feels like she can't hunt on her property because of the house that would be set back. So this kind of went back and forth between the two. But Dave Martin, who was the acting vice chair, was running the meeting, and he remarked that the neighbors will work with the neighbors. But since the applicants have met all of the requirements for the location of, for setbacks and such with their house, was listed as an unlisted negative deck seeker. Application, but I believe they've agreed to plant a row of arborvitae for some privacy, and that will be subject to approval by the MRB group for. On the agenda was a conservation corridor development permit for Brittany and Austin Pizza, 5864 West Wilmota Beach Road. They're proposing to add a fence, a 3 ornamental aluminum fence. Area permit from the zoning board. Under seeker, so they did receive the conservation corridor development approval. Those were the only 2 things on the agenda or on the meeting. The discussion, I reported about some trees that we purchased, and I'll discuss that later in our meeting. And the farmland protection plan that has been worked on by the board. And that was the meeting. Steve Rutherford is not here tonight, he's ill, so I will report on the fishing advisory board. Steve reported to me that the DEC had shot Sandy Creek to see, results of the, Atlantic salmon, results. He doesn't have the results of that, but they wanted to see how many of them ever returned after they were stocked in the creek. Apparently, Atlantic salmon are returning, appear to be returning in numbers greater than they had back when they were decimated. Don't really remember that Green chapter reported that on Roddick Creek, that is encouraging that when they clean out the creek, that they should leave the trees and the wood in the creek, when it's used by kayakers and canoers. It is a major fishing creek, flows into Roddick Lake Bay, but he's suggesting that they leave that debris in the creek, the natural things that are in the creek. Mature fish need to hide in this, and it also attracts invertebrates, which then a little fish can feed on. This kind of debris is in pretty much every body of water, and to the extent that they can leave it there and not traditional use of the creeks, that they should leave it there. And that's all I have for the fishing advisory board. And to move on to the EMC, the same person that reported to the fishing advisory board reported some of those same comments at the EMC meeting, and that was all that Steve told me. Which is Rob for the town board.
So the last town forum meeting, a couple of notes from that. There is a public hearing that is scheduled for Wednesday. I believe that it's for 6:15.
Yeah, 6:15. Yeah, Joel wanted 6:15.
It's regarding the budget proposal for 2025. So there is a preliminary budget that everybody can pick up currently at the town clerk's office. If they want to review it. And then the other thing that was discussed and approved, there was a motion that was approved for a grant writing to hire G&G Municipal Consulting and Grant Writing to update the Town of Hamlin master, which has not been, it hasn't been updated since 2007. So, and I believe when it was done then, they said they wanted to do updates every 3 years or something like that. So it's been, so that's in play, and it's about what there is with that. So and I was going to mention we farmland protection plan that you mentioned, and Phil brought that preliminary showing of that.
Did you see the map?
I did not. Oh, well,
The one
yes,
yeah.
yes, I did see that.
I'd like to comment that when during the discussion at the planning board, he just looked at this and said, you can see that Hamlin has high quality active farmland.
Right.
And I think he referred to it as the breadbasket of Monroe County.
Right. You can see what we do here.
Yeah.
Right? It's pretty easy to tell. Like, oh, okay.
So, there's a lot to be considered, since we're getting a lot of interest for additional solar farms beyond the 3 that we already have.
Right.
So, that's why the moratorium is important, and we need to protect our farmland.
So, yeah, and that's what we got from town board.
Okay. Louis, zoning?
I couldn't get there, I'm sorry, and the agenda wasn't available. It's temperamental.
The
So-
agenda will be there tomorrow morning.
So-
I was ill.
Sure.
I apologize.
No, it's my fault.
I think there was quite a long agenda too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
There were like 4 public hearings and 1 conservation court.
Nice.
Okay,
The star of the show was there.
is everybody good with their assignments for next month?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to give a brief report, for Hamlin Beach. Obviously, camping is closed, things are kind of winding down for the season. There was a Fish and Wildlife Day. And 31 volunteers signed up, many of them college students. And they worked on 2 different paths in the park and added wood chips. And then also planted new plants. Over the Columbus Day weekend, the Hamlin Lions Club served a pancake breakfast to the park campers, and the Friends of Hamlin Beach assisted the Hamlin Lions with that event. Late fall activities are going on, flower beds were prepped for winter. They did some deadheading and they did some clearing. There was an issue this summer with purple martin houses that were infested with mites. So at this time of year, this year they lowered them and wearing masks and gloves. They properly cleaned them to sterilize them to take care of this mite infestation. And then they covered them. If you go to the park, the 2 purple martin houses are right near the main office. Interested, you just need to check on the Friends of Hamlin Beach Facebook page, because there's still ongoing activities from time to time throughout the county. Check. So, we have to do, motion to adjourn this part. This motion, we have a motion to.
Second.
And Carrie second.
Rob Westcott,
Yes.
Amy Clark,
Yes.
Karen Whipple, yes, Bruce Vincent, yes.
Okay. Hamlet Waterfront Committee with the same members present. There were 2 inspections done. Rod, you did one. Do you want to just briefly explain what you looked at?
Seems like a lifetime ago.
It was, I think it was the day
I
after.
think I did it the day
After our
after.
conservation board meeting.
So yeah, 5733 West Potomac Beach Road. They were adding a deck to the back of the house. I did an inspection there. Just spoke briefly with the homeowner, just to let them know that I was going out there. And I guess the good thing was I was a little concerned because I didn't know exactly what they were doing, but they had everything staked out. They had string lines out. It was all, let us know what's going on. It's on the opposite side of the road. It's on the south side of the road. It's not on the lake side. So it seemed consistent. So no issues there.
Okay. And then I did an inspection at 7302 Sandy Shore Drive. The applicant wanted to add a 12 by 16 shed to the west side of his property. It was well away from the lake, so there was no concerns about, it was consistent with the LWRP. The issue as to whether he would need a variance as far as setback from his neighbor. That's not relative to the LWRP, but we've since received them.
That's different on that street than they are, it's in elsewhere.
Well, they had their own, if their lot is less than 150 feet wide, you only have like
6 feet.
And this is going to be 7 feet.
Maybe 7 feet, and usually anywhere else in the zone, it's 5 feet for a shed, 15 for a lot.
That's like the third thing I learned.
So those were the only 2 referrals. So do we have anything for discussion? Louis, did you want to mention?
Yeah, just to mention the spotted lanternfly trap that was on the town campus back here, the lanternflies found, so that's good news.
Do they leave it up year round, or they take it, do you know?
They don't, I don't think they take it, they take everything down, but I think they take the collection thing down. I believe it's still up there. I haven't been since, I saw it last month. Sure, do you know if it's still there, sure?
I think it is still there, but people do plan to take it down like maybe some flies.
Yeah. It was there
Because
last month, yeah.
That's a good thing, because
Yeah.
I had heard they were found in Greece.
Yep.
So it's a good thing they don't have that.
Okay, I have something that I just saw, this weekend in the West Side News. It was the article is titled, Legislators Present Regional Dredging Plan to the Great Lakes Commission. And, I highlighted a couple of places that I'm gonna just read those. It is, presented by a couple, which is from Orleans and Niagara County. And, it's called the Regional Dredging Management Plan. And it's an initiative begun by the Niagara Orleans Regional Alliance. They call it the RDMP, Regional Dredging Management Plan. And it's a comprehensive approach for the ongoing maintenance, dredging, of harbor access channels that are used primarily for recreational boating along the south shore of Lake Ontario. And the quote, our goal is to have multiple counties working in partnership to help jointly fund dredging projects across our communities through annual appropriations, thereby keeping the cost of any single project manageable for individual counties and ensuring dredging is performed on schedule. I would give this article to you by the way, Sharon, so read that budget. It said initial dredging was funded by a grant from the READY project, the Resiliency and Economic Development Initiative. So the next step was an engineering firm updating the RDMP with information from the READY Commission to revise dredging statistics and projecting ongoing costs. The point is, they're saying we must keep our harbors dredged, and the most efficient and cost-effective way to do so is through collaboration among local governments. So it's an ongoing issue. I know that they had to dredge locally here at Sandy Creek. They had to dredge a couple times. So this is a plan to make it more cost-effective for not only Sandy Creek but all the creeks on the North Shore.
It's interesting, because it makes it sound like, so they're gonna do a county base rather than state based. So somehow they're gonna, so there's appropriations, so somehow they're gonna, I wonder how they're gonna come up with funds that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because usually it's done by grant, like Sandy Creek for the most part is done by the yacht club. Like the yacht club literally flips the bill to
Right.
dredge that section. Up in, like, I think it was 5 years ago, we did have New York State grant money that was used to do like an excessive amount of dredging versus just kind of maintenance type of dredging that the yacht club does. So I'm curious to know how,
And this sounds
maybe
like-
it's just a way to, like, we need to do this all the time because now we're gonna deal with our water. So,
it's just, it just says they're gonna have, participating counties. That sounds like if they choose to participate, will enter into formal intermunicipal agreements, to hire a dredging contractor to perform the work. It says recreational boating activities generate nearly $100 million annually for our community. So harbor.
here's the secret.
It was in the West Side News just this week. There's probably copies for it. Getting information from the READY Commission about statistics and projected costs. So it's an ongoing development thing. Okay.
And one thing,
Okay.
you convene, you guys wish to be reappointed, give you a piece of paper, merit it yourself, if you'd like to sign that, and give it to me, and we can.
One other thing I'd like to add is that I mentioned earlier that I mentioned at the planning board, that Steve and I purchased, we agreed at the last meeting that we would use some of the money in our conservation board budget to purchase some trees, so we went to Sarah's, and we bought 5 trees, 2 sugar maple trees, 2 tulip trees, and 1 purple leaf beech tree. That was within our budget, and when I spoke on the phone with Steve, he said that the highway department, highway superintendent told him those 5 trees have been found. about the last 4 or 5 years. The trees have all been planted on this campus, but,
How big were the trees? How big were the trees?
the purple leaf beech tree was relatively short. I'm not good at height, but the 2 tulip trees were very tall. It's hard to tell when they're in a pot because shorter.
I would guess by price, yeah, they're probably 6-foot trees.
Yeah, probably 6, and I would, like I said, 2 tulip trees were even higher than they were 6 and 7 feet.
Yeah, sure, maples grow. Like, if you want to enjoy a tree, plant a maple. Can't plant an oak tree. You'll never get to enjoy the oak tree.
That's, no, we just planted an oak tree, and that's what I was on my way. These are for the next people that.
Yeah, exactly. This is for the next generation.
Plan for the future.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
I have no-
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Jerry seconded?
Rob Lozat,
Yes.
Denise Flom,
Yes.
Carrie Whipple,
Yes.
Lucy Nicholson.
So we did a double zoning board report next
So actually, I'm not gonna renew, I'm sorry.
Oh,
It's just too hard, and I'm traveling more too, so I can't, it's just too hard.
well, we're sorry to see you go. I'll let them know that. Okay, okay. Okay, okay, now we,
Is there offset terms
Quiet.
there? Who is is everybody renew it this time around?
you always renew, no,
Or is it like?
Steve, it was supposed to be 1 a year, but it hasn't turned out that way. It's turned out that you 4 are this year and then Steve is
Oh,
next
really?
year.